I would like to introduce you to Dr. Francois du Toit, and I'm going to read you the bio of Dr. Francois. Dr. Francois is focused on presenting holistic master classes. He has over 11 years of experience in the wellness industry. He has gained much during his time overseas in one of the most sought after wellness resorts in the world. His work experience lies in healing modalities such as herbs, essential oils, nutritional and rich diets, also massage therapy, and also thanks to his own experience and the recovery from serious illnesses that he will share with us as a in childhood through the help of natural healer and lifestyle dietary recommendations. He can share from a rich lifelong experience on topics that his training provides. He has been fortunate to have been able to help thousands of patients to regain their health over the years, as well as being privileged to have presented over 100 workshops. He enjoys collaborative ventures and has been the event organizer, hosting other health experts on many occasions. He has a passion to bring out the very best in every single person and help to give him their unique expression of greatness to the world. So I'll give over to you, Doctor. Thank you.
Most of you might not have heard about a naturopathic doctor. That's okay. I don't believe in titles myself. My experience lies mostly in when I was born, I battled with severe health challenges. I had chronic middle ear infections, colic, as well as sinus problems. Lots and lots of mucus. I just remember slime. That was like what my parents told me it was like for me. I was this child that for the first 2 years of life, they couldn't put me to sleep. I was crying endlessly. I was in such excruciating pain. I ended up in hospital at least once to have my ears drained, called grommets. En ergens langs daai pad het my ma so moedeloos geraak met die mediese dokters en hulle behandelings, dat sy my gevat het na 'n homeopaat toe. A homeopath is like a sort of natural medicine doctor, similar to a naturopathic doctor that I eventually became. And this amazing homeopath looked at my diet, looked at my lifestyle, looked at my environment, and his medicines and his advice within a month already started helping me to have a lot better health. Within 1 year, up until the age of 2 to 3 years old, I was nearly cured of all of these health conditions that I just explained to you. I went from a child that was depressed, sad, no energy, no appetite, to 3 years old, almost too much energy. That was another battle my mom had for the rest of my life, and vibrant and healthy. And you know, the homeopath changed the way my parents saw healthcare. And I was fortunate to grow up in a household where we started to learn with the homeopathic doctor how to eat healthy, how to shop healthy, how to learn about how our bodies work. Because a big part of what he taught us is that listen to your body. This is something I picked up along the way, and I reworded it in my own way. The body always speaks, but we were maybe never taught how to speak body. Most of the things I'll be covering today, you might have never heard in school, or would have never even heard in university. Many of the things that I was taught, I didn't learn at even university, even though I studied to become a natural medicine doctor, which you can call a kraai doctor, a bossy doctor. That's awesome. And it's really what I learned. Most of what the naturopath does is what is considered the wellness way of healthcare. Wellness industry is one of the biggest industries internationally, and that's one of the reasons I decided to jump ship from South Africa, where I had my practice for 5 years in George, to eventually go and work there in Thailand at a luxury wellness retreat and spa for 2 years. And most of what I actually will be speaking about today and what I delved into, this is now already 4 years ago, I was in Thailand, is relating to wellness. Who's heard about wellness? Anyone? Couple. Okay, that's awesome. It means, let me give a description. According to the WHO, the World Health Organization, wellness is not the presence of health. It's not the, let's say it this way, it's not the absence of disease, but the presence of optimal health in mind, body, and spirit. So this is one of the things I recognize. We talk about the healthcare industry, and in many areas, especially in acute care medicine, is doing a brilliant job. But let's say it in the words of the first medical doctor that came to see me, maybe this was already 7 or 8 years ago, as a patient. He told me, Francois, I recognize as a medical doctor, we are brilliant with acute care medicine. We're brilliant if you have an acute infection, you have a broken bone, you've got a gunshot wound, you've got a stab wound. We can save those people's lives. But I recognize now, listening to what you're teaching me, we are pretty bad with chronic healthcare conditions. And this is the situation we're sitting in with the healthcare industry. I see it as where the focus has become so much on dis-ease. It's not really a healthcare system, it's a disease care system. So we can focus a lot more on health, and wellness is a good way of describing what we want to focus on. So the topic for today is men's health. I honor all of you for being here and listening to me. And as a preface, I recognize this is the one thing I see is you're very in tune with me and listening intently, and I love that. The more you pull on me in terms of your interest and your engagement and the energy levels you're bringing, the more information, the more wisdom I can bring from my experience. So it's an exchange. And on the other level, recognizing that you did come here for free, you didn't even know I was going to be speaking. In your mind, imagine that you had written out a check for me for 1,000 Rand for this hour's talk, because it's worth much more than that. But the value you place on the information I'll be giving to you is the value you'll be taking home for yourself and implement. As was for me when I was 2 years old, the proof is in the pudding. When the natural medicine doctor taught my mom how to take care of me, and we were desperate enough to do it, everything changed. Because this homeopath taught my mom later, I want to thank you. My mom's name was Joy. She has already passed away, unfortunately. He said to my mom, I want to thank you for Francois' behalf, because you listened to every single thing that I said, to the T. My mom is a very exceptionally goal-oriented woman. She followed everything to the letter. And I'll tell you this much, most patients that I've seen don't do that. And that's why Francois improved his health within 1 month, already dramatically, and in 1 year, I was almost nearly cured. So let's pull on each other. Think about the things that you want to improve in your health and your well-being, and you'll pull up on me, and I'll be able to share much more on that. So what I'll be covering is the 7 pillars of wellness. So these are the foundational things that every human being needs to be in balance in to achieve optimal states of health. And I will put a focus on as it relates to us men as I go through these 7 pillars. So this is in no particular order. This is based on international studies and international organizations like Mind Valley, who are really the leaders in the health and wellness industry internationally. I have adapted some of these pillars to my own because it touches more on my expertise, and what I think it covers even more than just 7. It covers an endless amount of areas of health. Let's say 20 different areas that it will impact just by following 7 and achieving balance in these 7. So the first one is frequent movement. I think most of you have this one pretty covered. You're in a very fortunate, you could say, environment and a lifestyle where you are moving around a lot, more physical work, I'm assuming. Am I right? Yeah. Now, I say movement because when I say the word exercise, some people want to slap me. It's like a bit of a swear word in certain circles. And I think there's a lot of misunderstandings on what exercise is and should be, but that's maybe a different discussion. It's about understanding that when we move, we gain more energy. And it's one of the fastest ways to shift our state of mind. Meaning, if you are depressed, the fastest way to move you out of that state of depression is to start moving your body. You might have seen these things in certain YouTube videos, or I think even Oprah Winfrey interviewed some of these people the power poses. You know this when you see it. Some of you maybe enjoy watching the sprinting differences. Who of you have watched, say, the Olympics with Usain Bolt? Some of you guys like that? Now, when you watch those guys crossing the finish line, what do they do immediately? They do this. This is called the victory pose. Now, when you think about movements and a pose like this, it's called your body language informs your mind. You can shift yourself out of a state of depression faster than thinking, I should be happy, I shouldn't be depressed, I should be happy. Because your mind cries BS on that. It knows you're lying. Even though focusing on what you can be grateful for is one of the most powerful tools to shift your mindset, if you combine that with physical movements, especially if it's a form of exercise or movement that you enjoy doing, it'll make for a positive change in your thought patterns. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So it can be walking. And I'm a runner. I love running. In the last couple of years, I've shifted to doing triathlons, training for the half Ironman in Mossad Bay at the end of this year. But for me, I've learned that if I don't enjoy the form of exercise that I'm doing, I won't do it. I set a goal for myself that I don't want to be bored. My personality type is of that stage. It's like, if I'm just going to do running every single day, I'm going to get tired because it's boring for me. And I enjoy the triathlon journey because with swimming and running and cycling, I almost never get bored. But it doesn't mean that I'm a person that trains every single day. I like walking. I like going into the forest. I love trail running, especially. For me, I think this will probably touch on a little bit deeper. Nature is probably one of the best forms of medicine, but I'm going to cover that in one of the other pillars. So what I really say is think about how we all were when we were children, or look at children and see how they act. You don't need to ask them to exercise. You don't need to ask them to move. They find enjoyment in every activity that they do, especially if you put them in nature, especially if you put them outdoors. They make everything a form of play. So let's reframe exercise as finding a way to move that you generally enjoy doing as if you were playing. So many of us need to go back on like a thought exercise like, my goodness, when I was a child, what did I love doing? Did I like climbing trees? Did I like jumping on a trampoline? Did I love going to the ocean, swimming in the sea? And rediscover these forms of movement and of play so that you say that, okay, I want to rediscover this now again in my adult life because it's never too late. I'll be very honest, it's never too late. Start by starting and just start with something. Even if you'll never be 100% sure what's going to be the best form of exercise. This is the one thing that most people get by learning from the internet. And I'm very grateful for the information age and that we all have access to so many free YouTube videos and content, but we get information overload and we have access to some of the best speakers as well. But when you think, yeah, but I know this form of bicep curls is the best, but now I think the squat is the best, and now I think push-up is the best, and you end up doing nothing. So inform yourself of what you enjoy doing. Just pick something and start ideally today or plan to start in the next week. Doesn't matter what you choose, because when you start, whatever it might be, say I decided I'm going to do push-ups, and I do push-ups when I go to the gym. I do weight-based training. Part of that is push-ups. When I start that and I learn, oh, it's not working for me, I can get something else to do. You'll figure it out because your body type is different to mine. Some people have stronger upper body, some people have stronger lower body. Every single person has a unique talent and form of movement that you'll excel in better than anyone else in the entire world. It's literally a diamond in the rough, each one of you, that can be discovered and refined so that you can get to your full potential. And oftentimes when you think about the things that you enjoyed doing as a child, that you did effortlessly, like sprinting, you ran all the other kids away, or when you had a challenge to climb a tree, you were the first one up at the tree, you'll discover there's secrets that makes you excellent in what you do, and it's effortless for you because it's your talent, it's your unique ability. Yeah. The second pillar of health is gut health. Who has heard about the gut? Anyone? Very few. Okay. Talking about the gastrointestinal tract, running all the way from the mouth all the way to when you have a bowel movement going to the bathroom. I specialize in the digestive health. I'm very thankful that most of you have not heard about this topic because in the world of science, in the last 10 years especially, they've discovered that your gut or your intestines or your stomach, we talk about the stomach, is one of the most important keys to transforming your entire body to become the healthiest it can ever be. So I'm so glad we could place an emphasis on this very underlooked and essential organ of your body. Why is the gut so important? It's because scientists have discovered that your intestines or your stomach controls your thinking patterns. Your mind still makes the choice, but when you think about what actually leads to a specific thought pattern, you feel happy, you feel joyful, you feel sad, you feel depressed. These are controlled by hormones. And the majority of these hormones called neurotransmitters, up to 80 or 90% of those hormones is produced in your intestines. Yeah. Now, just to relate it back, because most of this comes from, you'll know this from intuition. You have a gut feeling. You know when you meet someone, you have a feelings like, I like this person. You know when you meet someone, you start falling in love, you've got butterflies in the stomach. You've got energy and joy coming up in you. Or maybe you did something wrong and the school principal calls you in or the boss calls you in and needs to speak to you now. You know what stomach feeling you get there. Like knotted up and tight. Anxiety. You feel it here first. So it's just simple to say that your gut feeling is what you've always known is contributing to how you're thinking. Now, being aware of that, number one, is a great foundation for being aware of your thoughts and your emotions. Just recognizing I do feel things here and being loving and kind to yourself when these emotions come up. But we can also take it from the opposite side, what we say biohacking, which means that if you eat food that feeds your digestive tract to be healthier, it means you will be happier, you have more joy, you'll have more peace, because the hormones that are producing those feelings are coming from your gut. So let's talk about number one, support detoxification, because that is one of the important functions of your gut. Every time you're going to the bathroom to have a bowel movement, you are excreting toxins, you're releasing, you're detoxifying, you're cleansing your body. So ideally, every single person should have a bowel movement once or twice every single day. And I trust everyone is in that category. But even if you are, you can have a bowel movement every single day and still be constipated because of how the shape of the bowels forms pockets to store stool. So in essence, we want to be a little bit more proactive and say, I really want to have enough fiber. I want to eat more vegetables. I want to eat more fruit with the skin on. And I want to drink enough mineralized water, because most of constipation is caused by dehydration. So we want to get into a habit where we're drinking 1 to 2 liters of mineralized water every single day. How many of you drink 1 liter of water a day? This is a quick question. Okay. Starting less than 1 liter a day? Please be honest. It's okay. There's no judgment. Okay, coffee. I'll talk about that. Who drinks 2 liters of water a day? Okay. So whenever you start with that, that's where you start. If you're drinking 1 or 2 glasses a day, I commend you. Thank you very much. I thank you on behalf of your body and your own digestive system. What's more important than water is the minerals in the water, because your body can only absorb that water if it's got salt in it. I talk about things like Himalayan pink salt or Himalayan salt or pink salt. That's what it's also called. And sea salt. Celtic sea salt is becoming popular, but I think it's way too expensive. So just think about whatever natural occurring. There's even Karoo salt that's becoming more popular. Maybe you have a contact and you ask them, please bring in your salt from the Karoo for me, and get a hold of it. And if you add that to your water to the point where you can comfortably drink it, the saltier generally the better, but you have to slowly get your body used to enjoying more minerals or more salty water. Why I recommend that so highly, I'd love to answer your question, is because less is more. 2 glasses of hyper-mineralized water, meaning with lots of natural salt in it, can be more hydrating for your body than 1 liter of water without any salt. In fact, the body doesn't know what to do with that unmineralized water. Yes. No, please ask. If time allows, I'd love to do questions and answers at the end. Nadia, can you guide me in that? What do I have a hard stop at 11 or is it? Okay. So if possible, I'd love to plan myself for a hard stop at 11, and then some questions and answers would be wonderful. So the third pillar of wellness, sound sleep. So many questions about sleep these days. And one of the things to understand is that quality of your sleep is very much dependent on the quality of your day. So every small bit that you do for all of these 7 pillars, or let's say the other 6 pillars, will make up for a productive, healthy day. And then a natural, effortless result of that is sound sleep. So it's a little bit of a dipstick test for me. When I see someone and they're really battling with sleep, I generally understand that their day, it's quite challenging for them. It's usually more stressful. There's a lot of challenges to their health. And a lot of things usually relating to mental health that is oftentimes overlooked and oftentimes as men not even discussed. So one of the most important things I find, and I'm part of different men's groups, specifically Christian men's groups, is that I found too often, and I'm also guilty of this, that I often say too late when I'm struggling with something or I'm battling with something in my life. And having a group of friends and other brothers that you can talk to when you're in a pinch, when the pawpaw hits the fan, those are the guys you really want in your life. And you want a balance of both, people that are there for you in the times of need and in the times of abundance. So we really want to think about healthy routines. Ideally, we want to be waking up exactly the same time every morning and going to bed exactly the same time at night. The fastest way to program your body and your mind to fall into a deep sleeping pattern is spending more time outside in direct sunlight. The more you have sunlight stimulating your mind and your brain and your body, the more your body knows this is daytime. And when it becomes dark and the sun sets, your body also naturally goes into a deeper sleep cycle. And the fastest way of them all to program your body this way is when you set to a time, and it should shift with the seasons, but some very successful people all over the world, some of the most successful people at least, they have a strict time. It's going to be 7 a.m. every morning or 6 a.m. every morning. You can adjust this, but whatever you do, the first time when you wake up in the morning, you go outside immediately and you look at the sky. And that amount of sunlight from out, it won't work indoors. It won't work from me sitting inside and looking out the window. Too much of the UV lights and the sunlight is filtered out through the glass. You need to be physically outdoors and you need to look at the sky. And that stimulates your brain to activate the circadian rhythm so that after the day's cycle has ended, your serotonin levels and your sleeping hormones start kicking in when the sun sets. Now we also need to be mindful to make this really work. We should have an electronic shutdown 1 or 2 hours before bed, meaning we want to switch off as much of the lights as possible. This means, especially for us that is very fortunate to have so much amazing technology, to be mindful an hour or two before bed, putting the cell phone off, putting the laptop off, putting the TV off. This is from light. No, I'm not even talking about the mental stimulation that comes from these technologies. That's a different topic I can't cover today. But the amount of light from these devices telling your mind, oh my goodness, the sun is still up. Where's this light coming from? I think it's daytime. This is just human biology. This is the way the body always recognizes. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know I have times where I work up until 10 on my laptop at night as needed, especially maybe for days like this when I want to do a presentation. But the majority, 80 or 90% of the time, I know for me, when it's coming to 8 or 9 in the evening, 100% I'm going to switch off all of the devices, sit in my room and read a book, or listen to a meditation, or listen to music, or take a bath, take a long shower, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat, whatever you enjoy doing. Find something else that's not going to stimulate your mind in a way that activates your mind too much. And the fourth pillar is inner stillness. This is talking about cultivating an internal environment of calm and peace. A lot of this is to how much you need and or should be in balance in this area is directly proportional to how much stress and anxiety you perceive in your daily life. One of my core values is to be calm. And some people look at me, Francois, you're so calm. What's up with that? It came at a price. For most of my life, I struggled with severe, debilitating anxiety. I remember at university, especially with my final exam, because of how I deemed, and I was performing well with my exams, very fortunate for my schooling and my parents supporting me in my educational journey. But I set very, very high standards on myself. And when I was in university with the final exams, I remember walking into Pick and Pay and I thinking like, I'm going to fail my exams. And I had that feeling like, I just want to crawl underneath the different foodstuffs and go lie there and die. Because I really thought my world was coming to an end because I might not get my passing mark on one exam or one subject, even though that wasn't very close to the truth. That's how I felt. And this is what's really important. It doesn't matter what is true or what is factual. What matters is how you feel and recognizing our emotions and our feelings. The journey to overcoming that for me was faith-based and was based also on having a journey where I started to understand that I placed too much pressure, unnecessary pressure myself. What actually is the goals that I want to achieve in life? Why am I even working this hard on my schooling or my education? And when I started to reframe this to say, I love people. I love helping people. This is why I'm studying. This is why I'm learning. This is why I'm getting this degree. Everything started shifting for me. It started not becoming about myself, but it started becoming about every one of you. Anyone that I can help, anyone that I can teach and share to help them to not face the same challenges and battles that I faced as a child and the same stress and anxiety that I faced for a long part of my adult life. And to be honest, this puts a fine point on this. My grandmother passed away a month ago, thankfully at the age of 92, and she was ready to go. It was beautiful to be with her during that last week of her life. And she said, I'm ready to go home now. Many, many times for the last couple of years, actually. So it was a much more peaceful transition, and we're very blessed that that was the case. And her funeral was yesterday morning at the old age home, Blue Mountain, and be asked to do bedankings, doing the thanks for the family, and also did basically the presentation for the other family members speaking. Looking at the room of the people living there at the old age home, there wasn't one man sitting there. It was all just women. And this is a reality we need to face, that very few men age well. And why is that? Why is that happening? I think for me, what I see when I've been very close to women in my life, I have my mom and my older sister, or in terms of siblings. A lot of my friends at university, not a lot, all of my colleagues at university was also women. It's very rare to have a naturopathic doctor that is a man. I saw this internationally as well. So I recognized very few men tend to really prioritize or think about their health. It's mostly the women. And it's also good because in societal roles, we delegate women. You make the food, you take care of the house, you take care of the children. So in essence, the healthcare role is passed along to the woman. And that's amazing because women are brilliant with this. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't take responsibility for the family's health and for our personal health. We all have a role to play. We're all part of this community together. And we all can be supportive of each other at whatever stage we're starting. And it's not to be bashing yourself on the head because I didn't know or why is this. It doesn't matter. Start with today, what you're learning today, and saying like, what can I do? What can I take away from this? Take care of my health, to take care of my wife or my partner's health, to be supportive for the community, for the children's health. Because this is an old saying, it takes a village to raise this child. And it's really about the community coming together so that the next generation can be better off than we were. So that because I was the rare one to be taken to a homeopath when it was stigmatized. That's like a witch doctor the homeopath was when I was a child. Now natural medicine doctors, krye doctors, bosie doctors are much more supported and embraced. So we're very fortunate already for how much it's grown. I took a long journey around, but this is really about just recognizing the inner stresses we are facing and looking at tools to support us. For me, breath work, breathing, You'll notice me even when I'm speaking here, sometimes I go, take a deep breath in, make a nice vocal sigh. Taking a sigh of relief is what they say. Breathing is one of the most effective ways of helping to become aware of our thinking patterns, as well as releasing stored up stress and tension in the body. If anyone is interested to delve into this deeper, I highly recommend to learn from Wim Hof, also called the Iceman, who's developed one of the most scientifically researched forms of breathing to shift our state of consciousness and bring stress and anxiety to the surface so it can be expressed. As simple as that. It's a free tool. We need to do it every day. We can learn to do it more and more and more effectively. It takes practice, but start with small steps. Don't take on the big chunk. I know when I grew up, my father forced me to go to the gym 1 hour a day for 5 days of the week. And I recognize many men take a similar approach as my father did with us. But I find it's mostly unsustainable, and you'll be prone to burnout if that happens. What science has shown is that the amount of improvement that you can show from day to day consistently is 4%, which means that if I, Francois, can do 10 push-ups today, tomorrow I'm not going to try to do 20 push-ups, because who am I that I can think I can jump 100% better in one day? That means tomorrow I can do 10 and a half push-ups. So it's really about small incremental steps. You're in it for the long haul. This is your life. God willing, for many, many years into the future, especially with steps like this, much more longer and much more fulfilling life as well. Think about the long-term implications of when you start today with one push-up. And I'm just going to do one push-up every single day for the rest of my life. What kind of difference could that make in your health? This is a type of thinking patterns approach to all of these pillars. So the fifth pillar is community and connection, vis-a-vis relationships. We all need support. Thankfully, we're all born into the family. Many of us maybe not born into the ideal family or the most supportive family. There is so much to this. Whatever it is, you always have a choice to surround yourself with friends that support you. Every single person, I'm talking about every single person, but this is also a reflection to some of the most successful people in the world, the best CEOs, the billionaires, and all of them. All of them have this rule, and you'll see this. They are a reflection of the 3 to 5 closest friends in their lives. Every single one of us. So how can we start becoming conscious of choosing and building friendship? Because it's a two-way street. What you give is what you receive. If you want to have a friend, you need to be a friend. And I think in our modern culture and our modern education system has failed us in not teaching us about the value of deep connection and deep and valuable friendships. What does it even mean to be a friend? All of these types of things. I'll just mention this. Simon Sinek, who is a leader in terms of human development, started a company, the Optimism Company. And that's one person you can look up. He's done many podcasts and YouTube videos on this topic. And he's writing a book as of this moment on the power of friendships. And those are amazing resources to look at. The sixth pillar is syncing with nature. This is one that you thankfully probably have covered in many ways. It's mostly the people in the city and the town life that get stuck in a pattern where they never get outdoors. They get stuck at home. They get stuck in front of the TV. And why is it so important to be in nature? Well, I mentioned the implications for sleeping pattern. The more time you're outside, the more sunlight you're getting. I'm not even talking about the benefits of vitamin D on the skin. It helps to calm the nervous system down, improve your sleeping pattern. It's also that our bodies are electromagnetic, meaning the way the nervous system works is very much like the electrical wiring of a house, where electricity runs through the cables. It also runs through our nervous system. And through the way the electricity of our nervous system interacts with the minerals, which are metals, some of them are metals, the minerals in your body creates an electromagnetic field. Now, you've noticed this in your own life. You know, for example, that when you've been lying outside in the sun, you've been sunbathing for an hour. When you stand up or you go inside, you feel charged. You feel like you've got this energy bubble around you. That is because you have expanded your electromagnetic field. And this can be measured by photography and by different electronic devices. Your electromagnetic field, sometimes called the aura, this sounds very woo-woo, but this is actually very scientific, can be measured. My electromagnetic field can either be here or it can be here. It can expand to fill the entire room. Depending on how conscious I am about this amazing energetic circuit, one of the ways to recharge your body is by being barefoot outside. It's called grounding. Even grounding was considered a very woo-woo thing, and then the many scientific research has also come out to say, when we're barefoot in nature, not only are we discharging negative energy, like in stress and anxiety and negative electromagnetic fields into the earth, we are also receiving from the earth positive electromagnetic fields that recharges our bodies, gives us more energy, gives us calm and peace. Have you experienced benefits of grounding, like say barefoot outside? A couple of you. I'm very, very grateful. I'd love you to share your experiences on that, because it's something that we need to engage in dialogue, because maybe it's not something that's too familiar with the majority of us. And the last pillar is sense of purpose. In fact, with the type of clients that I see at the moment, even though I'm a natural medicine doctor and I do consultations and I'm qualified to diagnose illnesses, as my career has professed, I tend to spend very little time actually talking about disease. I talk about what do you want to achieve in your life. Because when you have a goal that you've set, things you want to do in your life, things that you find fulfilling, will give your life meaning and purpose. It's like you're setting your sails in a specific direction. It doesn't matter what winds are blowing. It could be winds of economic depression or winds of bad governmental structures. It could be winds of amazing prosperity and fortune and abundance. Doesn't matter. The winds blow you in a specific direction because you've set your sails in the way you want to go. And the same applies to every single area of health. I'll use this example. Fitness goals. When I see someone that says they want to do a full marathon, and let's say the other way around, I forget the whole story. The story is usually I have someone that comes to me and they say, I really want to be fit and strong. And then I tell them, I recommend you choose a fitness goal for yourself, ideally in 3 months or 6 months' time. And then sometimes they do actually themselves pick a marathon. Because I can guarantee you, when you commit to doing a race like that, especially if you decide you're going to register today and you put the money down, you pay for that marathon, 3 to 6 months down the line, you're going to be ready for that race because you've committed. You've set your mind to it. And you'll start to exercise a little bit every day, and you'll start to find out about fitness trainers and personal trainers, and you'll get a gym membership, and you'll talk about health and diet from dietitians, how to nutritionally load your body. I refer to dietitians all the time. I don't focus much on diets. I focus more on all of these wellness pillars. And then you find the people that will align you to help you to achieve that goal. That's just for exercise. But it's about building a compelling story and vision for the future. And oftentimes, these are things we want to write about. This is one of my journals. I've got at least 3 to 4 different journals for different areas of my life. And I found that when I start writing out what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, where I want to be in 1 year's time, in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, it's amazing how many things fall into place almost naturally in my current day to help me to get to that place I'd love to be. But it's a journey because you really need to go into yourself and think about these things. But like I said, small incremental steps, 4% every day. If you've never taken up a journal, if you've never written a sentence in your life, at least not in this way, in a journal way, start with 5 minutes, writing out 1 or 2 sentences. Oftentimes in my even though I love sitting down and writing, I needed to set a goal like that. I'm going to write down just 2 sentences of what was fulfilling and purposeful and what I'm grateful for what happened today. That's one practice, a gratitude practice. The same can be applied about where you want to see yourself in a year's or many years' time. And couple that to adventure, because we yearn for experiences. Many of us focus on goals. It's like, I need to be able to fulfill this obligation, or I need to finish that marathon race. But what we forget is that, why did we sign up for that thing in the first place? Because we wanted to experience something. So don't focus on goals, focus on the experience that you want to have. For me, this is all things that I was taught by different health mentors and people that focus on helping people discover their vision and purpose statements. I can mention them by name, but it will take too long. Many different authors. But it means that when I decide I'm now, like I did my first triathlon in 2022, the half Ironman, I decided to do it again this year at the end of the year in Mossel Bay. For me, it's not about getting a good time. It's not even about competing against the other triathletes. For me, it's about the experience. I want to enjoy every second of the swim, and then the bike, and then the run. If I can enjoy every single moment of that race, I don't care about the time. I don't even care if I don't finish. The goal is not so important as the experience that I want to have. And it's amazing if you set your mind to that, how many of the goals actually themselves effortlessly fall into place. So coming into the last 5 minutes, I wanted to round off with a practical exercise. Since I recognize that one of the biggest causes of a shorter life expectancy is the whole story about stress and anxiety, like I even battled with. And for me, the best tool that I discovered to start to understand my thinking pattern and start to learn to regulate my central nervous system was breathing practices. Who has ever done any breathing practices? Breath work, sometimes we call it. A couple of you. I'm very impressed. That's fantastic. So I'm gonna teach you the most foundational breath work exercise, and I'd encourage all of you to do it alongside with me. Remember, even though breath is a very basic thing, when it's performed in the ways that I can teach you, because I've been taught by Wim Hof as an instructor in terms of his online trainings, and many other breathwork, let's say gurus, even one-on-one coaching on breathwork. So it's to recognize that breath is a form of medicine, and it's very powerful, and it must be respected. Meaning, don't do this while you're driving. Don't do this when you need to have full control of your body and what your activities of your body will affect yourself and the safety of other people. Do this on a sofa lying down. Do this on the floor lying down. It's very safe on a chair like this, especially with a short breath that I'll be doing with you. Because some people, they actually faint and they fall off their chairs. So just to explain this to you, this happened to me. Thankfully, it was a carpet. I just collapsed into the carpet. But that was with a much longer and many cycles of breath work that I'll be teaching you. It's going to be a very safe one. It's called the double espresso of breath work. It's going to be a breath in through the nose, so it looks like this, and then out through the mouth. And we're just going to do 15 of them. And then after the last breath out, you're going to hold for 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds. Some of you may be able to hold for much longer. After doing those breaths, you have loaded your body with so much carbon dioxide, you don't need to breathe anymore. And when you load yourself with the carbon dioxide and the deep breaths that you've taken, you increase your pH, meaning you take acidity away, you move your body to be alkaline. You send oxygen to every cell of your body. You start regaining conscious control of every cell, of every organ, and of your entire nervous system. Because you're learning to regulate your sympathetic nervous system. That's the stress response nervous system. That's the short and sweet of it. So everyone comfortable with doing one round of these 15 breaths with me? And then at the end, with the last breath out, a breath hold for a couple of seconds. Okay. Let me actually grab the chair myself. So I'll demonstrate it one more time, and then I'll lead you into it. So it's like in through the nose, and I move my body because it makes it easier to do the full movement. And then out through the mouth. Okay, everyone ready? Sit into a comfortable position, feet on the floor, maybe hands on the knees. Just find a comfortable position to rest in. Okay, here we go. First breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And a deep in and out. Keep going at your own pace, in and out. Keep on breath in and out. Deeply in and release all the breath. Deeply in, out. Even deeper in, all the way out. And in, all the way out. Expand with the breath in, the last three, and release all the way in and out. Final breath in, deep as you can, and release it all the way out. And just stay there. This is called the breath hold. It helps to clench the muscles of the stomach and just find a place of stillness here. You no longer need to breathe because you've loaded your body with all the oxygen and carbon dioxide you possibly need for up to 30 seconds to a minute. Just listen to the nature sounds and the birds. Feel the sunlight coming through the windows. If you need to fidget a bit, I usually just move my hands along the clothing of my jeans or my pants. That's okay. Whenever you start feeling comfortable and it's too strong, the sensation in your chest, taking a deep breath in. And then holding that for about 15 seconds. Just count that off in your mind. I usually count the 1, 2, 3. Everyone at their own pace. If you're still at the breath hold, don't push it too far for your first time doing this. Maybe take your deep breath in, and then holding it in and then doing your 15 counts while you've taken in the breath. Just giving everyone a couple of seconds more. Start to regain, coming into the normal consciousness again. And if everyone is finished and ready, just give me some eye contact to know that you're back with us. Again. Yes. Everyone feeling relaxed and calm? So you can even call this a form of meditation. I just feel personally that breathing is one of the most powerful forms of meditation that exists. So whenever you're feeling stressed or anxious, imagine just taking, how long did this take? Maybe less than 5 minutes. Imagine you're just taking a bathroom break. You're sitting on the toilet. You're just doing a couple of breaths like this. How much better you'll feel. how much calm you'll feel. Imagine if you wake up the first thing in the morning, you go outside. This is my routine. I get sit outside barefoot in our garden, and I do a couple of rounds of this breath work. Imagine how calm and peaceful you are because you're in nature, you're grounded, you have the sunlight, you enjoy the beauty of nature, and you're loading yourself with this life-giving force of oxygen. Okay. I want to thank you all. And I want to say something I forgot to say in the beginning. You can't get this wrong, especially if you haven't done it before. Don't try to say, I could have done it better or judge yourself. It's perfect because you created it. It's your breath. It's your experience. No one can say anything for or against it. And now it's your choice to continue doing this at a pace and at a level that you enjoy doing. Because like I've said in the beginning, if you don't enjoy doing it, will you continue doing it much longer? So find a way, find a place, find a technique. I want to say there's probably thousands of different breathing exercises. I personally have found that Wim Hof has an amazing breathing technique. So questions and answers. So maybe just to organize it, I'm going to take maybe 30 seconds per question, but nice and concise, just to fit in a couple of people. But yeah, thank you everyone. Appreciate your attention and your amazing questions. I'll round off for the session today. And I thank you, Nadia, for arranging and inviting me as well. You've been amazing to support me to get to today.